I've got here is the Lansky Sharpening System. I've had it now about a month. It seems to be working very well now. Now I've got used to it and worked out exactly how to use it. It's been quite useful for watching some of the stuff on YouTube that other people have done, but it's still been a bit of a trial and error for me. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to do a review of how I found the best way using the Lansky to sharpen a knife. Right, so what I've got here is what actually comes in the box. I bought the base model, the cheapest thing. So I'm that sort of way. I didn't want to invest in a more expensive box and all sorts of other bits. I wanted to find out first of all if it actually did work. So in the box you get 3 of these rods, 1 for each of the stones. So with the red one we've got coarse grit, with the green one we've got a medium grit, and on the blue one we've got a fine grit. Fine grit, I don't know if the camera's picking that up very well, is 600. On the green we've got 280 on the medium, and then we've got 120 on the coarse. Comes with an ample supply of honing oil, the Lansky honing oil, but other oils are available. I'm sure there are people around there who'll tell you that other oils are better. What I found with this was that the rods and get these out of the way. These sharpening stones have to be perfectly aligned. As you can see, I've just fitted it in there. You tighten it up, and you think, there we are. That looks a bit straight, perfect. But it's not. As you can see. Here, I'll use this scrap paper I've got, you can see that it passes underneath it. It's not actually flat. It is parallel, but what I've found the best route of all is to actually have it so there, it's flat now on the actual tabletop. So in the sense that it's actually flat with the base edge of the stone. Okay, everything's flat now on there. And then we can tighten that up. That was the first thing that I really found out. The next thing that I found with everything was the actual mechanism for gripping the knife. Okay, with that you get 2 locking screws. That's it better. You can get 2. Wait for it to come into focus. You get 2 locking screws. This one is the first one that you tighten up. Tightens it onto the blade. This one, I don't know if you can see here, it sort of pushes it apart, so making that grip here even tighter. It came with what I thought were really good pads here, nice soft sort of sticky rubber pads that fitted in here. You can see where they fitted in on this lip here. Trouble was, as soon as you tightened it up about the 3rd time, they came off. So I've just wrapped a couple of wraps of insulation tape around there. Not the nicest, not the prettiest, but it works. Right, so we've got the knife firmly positioned in the holding mechanism. We've got the stone and the arm. Okay, now on here you've got 17, 20, 25 and 30 degree marks. I don't know if the camera will pick those up. I think it's starting to pick it up there. I haven't got a very good viewfinder on this. Anyway, so there it is, and it's repeated again on this side. So the whole idea is you can actually use this by putting it on here now, and then you sight it how it actually meets the already manufacturer's ground angle. Okay, I found with this knife here, I hope you can see there, that it's meeting it and mating it nicely at 30 degrees. 25 degrees, it's actually just missing the back edge of the grind on it. Okay, so that little extra does it. So now you're supposed to take it round and across. Okay, once you've done say 10 strokes that side, flip it over and then do 10 the other way with it. Okay, for a couple of extra pound you get the Lansky Stand. I've mounted this onto a block of oak I had left around lying at work. That makes it a lot easier because it sits on there now and it all moves around it's holding it perfectly steady for me, so I can hold it, and then I can go through the whole motion with it. So it's sort of say 20 on one side, take it out, leave it over, 20 on the other. Job's a good one. So let's see how it all works. We'll start off with the red, the coarse grip. Now we'll move on to the medium. Oh, let's get this in the camera. So we'll go with the red, then the medium, and then we'll end up with the fine. Okay, so let's give it a whirl. So let's just see how extra sharp this is. All of this is a page from a Wix catalogue, an old Wix catalogue I've got. Not very sharp at all. I can't actually cut paper, it's tearing with it. So, feels like it's got a bit of an edge to it, but it can't be that much of an edge. Let's try again over here. Starts to cut it but doesn't want to. Let's try it again here. I've seen on the reviews they use like there we go, pages from a phone book. So this is the finished stuff I've got to a phone book, and it's not cutting very well. It's doing more of a tear. I think you can see that. And there, okay, so let's get sharpening. Right, so now we've seen how blunt the knife is. We've got the knife itself in the stand all tightened up. We've got the stone on the arm ready to rock and roll. Just take out a drop of honing oil and put a couple of drops onto it. There we go, that should be enough. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is just smear it out with my finger. Sure, obviously you should be using some sort of protection, but I'm sure I'll survive. So now, just stroke it across. I found I hold it up to the top of the little oval there. Works best for me, gives me a bit more confidence. So there we go. On the videos I've watched, they said do this say 20 times and then feel onto the edge. You should be getting a burr on the other side, and then repeat this on the other side till the burr's gone. Okay, well you can see, hopefully, get a little bit of a burr on the back there, so we'll keep going a bit longer. This knife was particularly blunt. I've been using it over the last few nights cutting rabbits up. I don't think it's a good knife. It doesn't like going through bone. Didn't seem to hold an edge very well then. I'm going to do a constant stroke along the edge of the knife. Okay, so that was about 35. Let's bring her over now. So it's upside down, back into the 30, and this time from the tip down to the hilt. You can see I'm still trying to work out my smooth actions. I believe I'm getting there, but it's like most things in life. Got to get it right, and hopefully we'll get there sooner rather than later. Got a feeling now it's a rhythm. More, and then we'll be ready to change over. think I need to retighten the blade. That's the only problem with this electrical tape. Might have to try and use some gaffer tape, I think, just to get it in there. But it's still quite tight. Doesn't want to move. Maybe it's just been swapped back over again. I've double checked everything's tight, which it is. Nothing's actually moved. So we just repeat the process. It's been swapped back over again. I've double checked everything's tight, which it is. Nothing's actually moved. So we just repeat the process now with the next stone. There we go. Another 30 times. Oops. I'm sure there'll be people out there who'll say, oh, you're doing it far too many times, Mark, or you're not doing it enough, or you're putting the wrong amount of pressure on. But all I know is at the end of this knife comes out bloody sharp. So we'll speed this up a bit. So here's the fine stone now, 600 grit. Okay, oiled it as well, so we're ready to go. Let's speed this bit up, otherwise it gets really boring. Okay, that's that one done, and finally the other side, 30 times on this. Here we go. That's it. Okay, even with my sort of bad fingers, bad hands, it's cutting the paper, and I hope you can appreciate it's really thin paper. So after struggling there a bit, it is sharper. Don't know if you can hear that now. Hear that? All the way along its edge, it's there catching in my sort of fingerprints. There, you can hear it. Anyway, my closing feelings on the Lansky Sharpening System. Let's get all that rubbish out of the way. Comes in a cheap plastic box, all fits in there. It works better than I've had any of the other things I've used. I've used you know, those things that you run the knife through 4 or 5 times, goes and that sort of thing. It works well. I think the problem that I have with it, or I'm having with it, is I haven't sharpened enough knives with it yet. I've got to sharpen more knives, and the more I do it, the better it'll be. The other thing, it's only a little niggle, are the things that the jaws here, the protective pads, they should have stuck on better. They should have stuck on better. They should have stayed on. The other thing I'd recommend to everybody is to get the pillar. It is a very expensive piece of aluminium, machined aluminium, £10 for that, which screws into it. But it is worth it. It's worth every penny. And again, mount it onto some sort of block. You know, this is just something I've not done myself. It's dead easy. Anybody should be able to do it with a handsaw or even a screwdriver. Okay. The oil itself, very good, nice thin fine oil, very clear, very fresh. Doesn't leave a terrible smell on your fingers or anything, doesn't stain them as some of the oils I've tried before in the past. The locking system works, but the machining, the knurling on these little red buttons isn't enough. I'd have preferred like a wing nut on each of these, then you could get a proper purchase on it, whereas with these I'm pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. I end up, you know, with little dents in my fingers, getting it tight, and if it's not really tight, the angle of the blade moves. The knife slides out or it spins, and I think that again is part of the problem why I'm not getting the best out of my Lansky sharpening system. I think if yeah, once I get to grips with it, forgive the pun, once I get to grips with it all, and then I might do another review of this in a couple of months to show actually how much easier it is to get a very fine blade. The way it's going for me at the moment is I am finding it much easier to get a much sharper knife. So it's, on the whole, I'll give it 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'd like to have given it 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, but 8 out of 10 I think is the best mark for it. So if you like what I've done, like what I've said, please like and subscribe. My subscriptions have reached now about 370, which is fantastic since I haven't pushed the channel, I haven't advertised it or anything. So thank you very much for all of your loyal support. This is Mark Ayler saying, shoot straight and be safe. Bye for now.